In an interview with Paris Match magazine, President al-Assad stresses that the alliance's airstrikes didn't change anything on the ground, and we are the ones who are waging battles against ISIL. Units of the Syrian Arab Army eliminate dozens of terrorists, including foreigners, in Deir ez-Zor, Aleppo, Hama, Idlib, Homs, and Daraa. One Lebanese soldier was killed and 2 others wounded in Arsal Mountains following the killing of 7 soldiers yesterday in the Baalbek Hills. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to our news for today. In an interview with the French magazine Paris Match, President al-Assad said, "The talk about the coalition strikes helping us is untrue. They would have certainly helped if they had been serious and efficient. We are running the ground battles against Daesh, and we have noticed no change, especially with Turkey providing direct support to Daesh in those regions," the President added. President al-Assad said, "We will cooperate with any French official or government that works for our common interests. But the current administration is working against the interest of our people and that of the French people at the same time." The President added, "I'm neither a personal enemy nor rival of Hollande. I think that Daesh is his rival. Their popularity is very much the same. We, as Syrians," the President affirmed, "will never allow our country to become a toy in Western hands. It is a fundamental principle for us." A Syrian Arab Army unit has foiled an attempt by the terrorist Daesh organization to attack a military checkpoint in Al-Rasafi, As-Sina'a and Sheikh Yassin in the city of Deir ez-Zor and eliminated many of them. The Syrian Arab Army unit also destroyed a booby-trapped car led by a suicide bomber called Abu Hudhaifa, a Libyan. In Aleppo and its suburbs, a number of terrorists were killed or wounded in Bianoun, Salah ad-Din, Al-Liramoun, Khan al-Asal, Al-Hilluk and Hanano. In Daraa, the Syrian Arab Army eliminated several terrorists, some of them non-Syrian, near Sheikh Miskin Square and the villages of Inkhil, Jasim, Taysiye, Busr al-Sham, Jamrin, Sumaqiya and Atman. In Ein Al-Arab in Aleppo suburbs, violent clashes continue between the People's Defense Units and ISIL along Botan Azadi Square front. A number of ISIL terrorists were reportedly killed. Others were taken captives. Their weapons and ammunition were seized. This brought Botan Western Neighborhood and Mamid village south of Ein Al-Arab under the full control of the city's inhabitants and the People's Defense Units, who continue to advance in the western axis of the city. Clashes also erupted between the two sides in Suq al-Hal market. 8 ISIL terrorists at least were killed. In the southern front of the city, clashes resulted in more human casualties among the terrorist organization's elements. Civil sources inside the city have meanwhile affirmed that no less than 21 ISIL terrorists have been killed, including a Chechen terrorist leader and a doctor, during an attack they carried out along 3 axes in Ein Al-Arab in an attempt to cut off Ein Al-Arab Aleppo road and recover control of a number of vital positions. A high-ranking diplomat at the U.S. State Department acknowledged that more than 16,000 foreigners from 90 different countries, including the U.S. itself, are fighting alongside the terrorist groups in Syria. Turkey tops the list of the countries which facilitate the flow of terrorists into Syria.
The latest statements by top U.S. State Department official Robert Braddock has acknowledged that thousands of terrorists from 90 different countries are flowing into Syria since 2012, pointing out that Turkey is considered the main gateway for terrorists into Syria. He stressed that the terrorists represent a big threat to the people of the whole region, especially in Syria and Iraq, as they threaten the stability of world peace. The new statements by Braddock were made during a Congress hearing session, during which he contradicted himself by suggesting that Turkey cannot monitor its borders with Syria because they are too long. However, Turkish officials never denied their support of terrorists, as the opposition parliament representative pointed out that his government is sending arms and gunmen into Syria, adding that the Turkish intelligence is using government buildings alongside the Turkish-Syrian borders as headquarters for many terrorist leaders who are fighting alongside ISIL terrorists inside the Syrian town of Ein Al-Arab in the north.
Iranian President Hassan Rohani has affirmed that the terrorist Takfiri organizations in Syria, Iraq and Lebanon are working to spread hatred and distort the image of Islam, which embraces mercy and compassion. Rohani called for unifying the Islamic world to confront terrorism and violence, pointing out that Tehran will shortly host the largest conference on combating violence and extremism in the world. In Lebanon, a Lebanese soldier was killed and 2 others injured as they were defusing an explosive device planted by the terrorists between the 2 valleys of Ain Ata and Al-Ra'yan in the terrains of Arsal, east of Lebanon. The incident came a few hours after the assassination of 7 Lebanese soldiers by the terrorists who ambushed an army patrol in the terrains of Ras Baalbek, a crime which sparked angry reactions and denunciations by public and political parties. Meanwhile, cautious calm prevailed today morning in the area of Ras Baalbek and Tanyat al-Ras, east of Lebanon, but it was sporadically interrupted by artillery gunfire by the Lebanese army towards the terrains where the terrorists hid after committing their crime. The Lebanese army brought additional enforcements to its advanced positions and tightened security measures on the checkpoints on Baalbek Highway towards the Syrian borders with the aim of containing terrorism. Welcome back. The UN General Assembly has called on the Zionist entity to give up its arsenal of nuclear weapons and open its nuclear facilities for national inspection teams. The UN General Assembly stressed that Israel is the only country in the Middle East which did not join the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty. The UN also called on Israel to stop immediately producing or testing nuclear weapons. More than 161 countries voted in favor of the resolution, whereas the United States and Canada voted in favor of the Israeli government, as 18 other countries declared abstention. Finally, a terrorist blast took place in the political neighborhood of Hidde, central Sana'a, killing many civilians and injuring several others. The Iranian Assistant Foreign Minister for Arabic and African Affairs, Hussein Amir Abdullahian, said that a terrorist blast targeted an area near the house of the Iranian ambassador in Sana'a, causing material damage only, while the Iranian diplomats at the embassy were not injured. Yemeni Interior Ministry said that the blast was caused by a car bomb and took place near the house of the Iranian ambassador, inflicting material damages and human losses. With this, we conclude our news for today. Thank you for watching. For more details about Syria and the region and to view this bulletin again, you can always visit our website in English, syriaonline.sy. Now to latest business and market news with Selina, but after a short break.